Are we live? Is it gonna work this time? I guess. I don't know.
Yay!
Yay!
Hi, everybody.
Hi. Stop looking at your hair.
There we go.
It's okay. I look at my hair too.
There we go. Now I'm perfect.
All right. Well, we have 0 views. I know we are late. We are late. Oh, we're like 45 minutes late. This is like halfway through the show.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody. We would have been on time today. We were planning on managing to get here on time, but I had a doctor's appointment and it was later than I thought. And I get to have surgery. I get to have my nose ripped open. Yay!
Get your nose!
Next month, they will indeed have my nose.
Yeah. Among other things.
Among other things. Yeah. But that's good. Do it before Trump cancels out Medicaid and I have no money to pay for it. And my turbinades or whatever they're called are so big that I can't breathe through my nose and I lose my sense of smell. So, yeah. This is me trying to sleep at night with a lot of snoring. Anyway, so that's why we're late. I had a doctor's appointment. So we had an episode that we kind of did parts of before.
Which nobody saw.
No, nobody saw it. It may be Kevin. I think Kevin was the only one that was on.
Thanks, Kevin.
He's learned his lesson. He's not on today, but
yeah.
We kind of introduced ourselves last time.
Yes.
So this is sort of the second episode, but it's also sort of like episode 1B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
This is
Hopefully
our
we're
second attempt at a first episode.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. Yeah. Do you think we should reintroduce ourselves?
Yes, we should absolutely do that for our 0.2 people that are watching right now.
Okay. So he's Dan and I'm Z, and we are,
The show.
Yes, that's exactly what we are. So, in the most loosest theoretical terms.
Tell them what the name of the show is.
What's the name of it? Oh, it's the Ballistic Missionaries. We're the Ballistic Missionaries.
Yes.
Yeah, I should have said that at the beginning, shouldn't I?
Yes.
We're still getting used to this.
This.
Yeah, we really are. I think we'll figure it out eventually.
Yes. Eventually, this will look professional and coherent.
Maybe
But until then, speak off your phone.
Anyway, so we are the Ballistic Missionaries. He's Dan. I'm Z.
Mm.
We live in Altoona, Pennsylvania.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. There are worse places.
Yes.
Not a lot, but a few.
Yes.
We live in Altoona, Pennsylvania. I'm a librarian and semi-professional artist and writer, which basically means that I don't make money for things, and half the time I don't have time to finish them anyway. But sort of a theoretical position. He is.
I'm a professional writer, artist, self-publisher, jack of all trades, master of none. I've been running my little comic company called 21st Century Sand Shark Studios since 2002. You can see me on the road in many different places in the Mid-Atlantic, and also on various social medias, except for X, screw X. I'm sorry, Twitter. Dead naming is bad. Dead naming is bad, except for Twitter. So Twitter. Anyway, say Twitter 3 times is Elon Musk appear and defund us. That was our very first joke, people. I wrote it on the spot.
Yeah. Anyway, are you done with your introduction?
I guess.
He makes the funny books.
Yeah.
I make the funny books in theory, but I don't actually in reality. But I lend out the funny books to people. Actually, not as much as you might hope. Sometimes. Not that much.
One of those bastards.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Go to your library. Are we allowed to curse on this show?
It's the internet. Everyone's allowed to curse.
Oh, okay. Well, fucking A.
Well, okay, so,
we don't want that. There's nobody here.
We have a viewer. It might be Kevin. Is it?
Hey,
Hi, viewer. If it's Kevin, hi, Kevin. We love you.
It's not like welcome to the show, whoever the hell you are.
Yep. So, we are, we don't know what the hell we're doing, but we're trying. So we've been together about 5 years or so.
Five human years, 5 Earth years.
Yes.
We've been together because we are totally humans and not orange lizard people. Anyway.
Is this too smile? They don't smile this much, do they?
No. Tell us more. If you're watching, tell us more about adequate human smiles in the comment section. We will answer you probably. Yeah, let's stay on.
Yeah, we're also very autistic. So, us making jokes about normal human behavior, it's not that far off from.
Because we don't completely understand it.
No, you people don't make any sense.
Yeah.
I don't know why the neurotypicals are in charge. I don't get it.
You've almost fully assimilated and aped your human neurotypical culture.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
Yeah.
You guys are boring.
Yeah. You just say what you mean.
Right? Why does everything have to be coded in like 10 layers of double speak? I don't know. I don't get it.
You're your goddamn subtext.
Also, April Fool's Day is the worst day on the calendar. April Fool's Day is basically like make fun of your autistic friend's day and destroy all of their trust in you.
Yeah.
And since that's coming up in less than a month, I figured I would mention that. Don't play tricks on your autistic friends because you will destroy their trust in you.
Yeah.
And also, if your autistic friends decide that they want to play a prank on you, it may involve going way too far and possible bodily harm and possibly blowing things up. So it's better just to not open that whole can.
That's not speaking from any personal experience. Just that's a hypothetical altogether.
Sure. But anyway, so we like to talk about
various subjects.
We are honestly, like, I feel like our autism, we didn't want to make it like the center of the show, but I feel like it does inform a lot of our discussions about the world just off camera. Because we don't understand why people do the things that they do, because humans are very illogical. And, to be honest, growing up, like, the only fictional character I really identified with was Mr. Spock in a lot of ways because of autism. What about you, Dan?
Yeah, sure, that guy, Commander Data.
See, I never identified with Commander Data because I understand humor.
Yeah. I understand it too. I write it sometimes, and occasionally I've been told I'm funny by some people that read my work. Whether this is true or not is yet to be fully studied in scientific journals.
But anyway, so a lot of the things that we talk about, discuss, we do so because we don't understand why the people who make decisions and say the things that they do are making and saying them, because they're highly illogical and, quite frankly, really dumb most of the time.
Counterintuitive?
Yes, very counterintuitive. So I guess, that's kind of how we're going to be getting into a lot of topics on this show is, hey, why is this stupid thing happening?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Why does this not make sense?
Yeah. And on the list of, actually, the first episode we were going to devote to AI. Unfortunately, the show is over in about 35 minutes. So we won't be able to get as in-depth a discussion to AI. Oh, that's what happened to my post-it notes. I was looking for these. They were over here. So we're not going to get into as in-depth a discussion about AI as we normally would have, but we did want to devote the first episode to it because we've both been affected significantly by
it. Mostly in not positive ways.
No, in not positive ways.
I know on mine, it hasn't come in a direct fashion to me yet. I make comics and graphic novels and prose novels and original art and posters for a living, which doesn't it hasn't creeped into the industry as of yet to where it's like I'm being directly replaced by people. I haven't seen an AI image print guy at a convention. I haven't seen him selling that online as of yet.
There was one in, is that Philadelphia? Where they kicked him out of the show?
I've heard it. I've read an article or two.
Yeah.
But it hasn't. I mean, so far conventions have been quick to respond, and I know at least a lot of the major ones are not allowing AI anywhere on the floor. But I'm waiting for the tides to change. I'm waiting for things to public opinion to sway, because let's be honest, the public at large, doesn't care.
I don't think most of them even pay attention to it.
I don't think that.
We're so we've gotten to the point where we're so glutted on just content that a lot of people they just want content. They don't seem to care where it's from.
Yeah, this is I go to an average convention and I see people. If you see them, they're going up there, not necessarily when they point something out, they're not pointing out. Look at the inking on here. Look at the color on this. Look at the light source of this. Look at any of the creative or technical decision of person at any certain piece that they like. The first thing they'll say is the thing that they like. Oh look, Harley Quinn. Oh look, Batman. Oh look, Deadpool. And that clicks for them. It's name brand recognition before
artistry.
And that doesn't speak well for artists in the long run trying to sell stuff when AI will produce literally endless content for free or low cost.
Even if it's not good. Yeah. It's I want this IP. I don't care about the quality of it. I just want it. It's very gluttonous in a way. So, but the thing is, it's still early, but so the normal average superstar artist is probably not going to be affected by this for a bit. But there already have been. I remember last year, about 2 years ago, there was a big thing with an AI program that was being trained on comic artist work. And let me tell you what, the comic community is smaller and closer knit than you might realize because of social media. So word got around very quickly about that. And while it's not at the point where it's, people in major publishers are are losing jobs because of this, their work is being stolen. I'm friends with Bill Sienkiewicz on Facebook, and he's an awesome person. And I remember the conversation popped up on a post that he made that he was one of the artists whose work was on a master list for this AI program to train it, where you could type in, draw me whatever this character is doing this pose in the style of Bill Sienkiewicz,
Paul McFarlane, Jim Lee, George Perez, Jack Kirby.
Yeah, and it's literally mimicking their work now, and that is pretty disgusting because it's not art; it's plagiarism software. It does not have the ability to create it doesn't create images out of thin air. It literally will scrape the internet for images and use those. So it is literally plagiarism software. It is stealing people's artwork to pervert into something that sees them lose opportunities. It hasn't been wide scale in the comic industry as of yet, but it has been in other industries. In fact, I had a freelance job for 9 years, doing, it's called Rev. I'm going to call them out. Rev.com. We do dictation work, translation work, captioning work on things, and it's a great freelance job, and it was a big part of my income. And around the end of the year, they introduced an AI option. And suddenly there is no more work for the hundreds of humans because they offer the AI option cheaper than having a human do it, and it was already not paying very well. It's gig work, it's freelance job. So and so now ostensibly, while Rev is still a company, it's still making money. There is almost no work for the human people, the human freelancers that were using it, because people don't seem to care about the source of this, whatever they're getting, whether it's dictation, whether it's art. They just want what they want for the least amount of money.
I mean, on the dictation side, it sounds similar. Like you and I are sitting on TV at night and we look at the closed captions, and it's all pretty much probably terrible. Yeah, it's like
it does terrible work. Like I am hearing impaired, and so sometimes, so we always have the captions going, and it's like it's horrible because they run it all through automatic systems, and it doesn't. I mean, far from not capturing nuance, it can't even figure out words most of the time.
Yeah.
It says, oh, it's ridiculous. It makes no sense.
It's monosyllabic. It's incomplete sentences.
Some of the words that it chooses are just completely it's like, where did you come up with this at?
I feel sorry for the hearing impaired and the deaf that have to sit there and translate this in their head and figure out what did they mean by that word? What are they like?
Yeah, because a lot of it's nonsensical. Yeah. It makes no sense. If you had a human person doing this, like Rev, we have a first line of people who take the cases and finish it. Then we have checkers who go through and double check, fix any mistakes that come through, and we have to maintain a regular standard, because if that dips, they can get rid of us. So, we get feedback saying like, well, you need to be careful about this stuff, so that we know what to watch for in other cases. But like, they don't have any checks and balances when it comes to AI. They just run it through the filter, and whatever random word salad bullshit comes out, that's what you get. But that's what happens when you don't want human beings
involved in the process.
That shit.
I mean, also, it's all driven by profit motive. And if the profit motive says we can make so much money for our investors and our stockholders if we eliminate this much in labor, because labor is always the variable that can be most easily eliminated with the update of technology.
Which is ridiculous, considering that it, seldom does it actually make things better, especially in a case like this.
Right, yeah. And we're not a couple of Luddites. We love technology. We love that the human race is progressing, whether we're living longer, our lives are easier, our lives are better.
Yeah. Hell, I mean, I can rip apart computers and laptops and all sorts of stuff and fix shit. It's like I can, I'm a little better at that than Dan is, but we are not anti-technology.
Yeah.
We're
not anti-progress
people.
Yeah.
We don't live in, like, what people are want to do is say, yes, technology will make our lives easier, but if you don't put in place the infrastructure for people to
take advantage of that technology.
Yeah, take advantage, and for people to move into different positions if their jobs suddenly disappear because of it. If you have no infrastructure opportunities for people, then all that technology is doing is ruining people's lives. It's like technology is supposed to be making our lives easier, but if you use it to replace someone so you don't have to pay them, then all you're doing is just fucking up someone's life.
I think in comparison, you could put to the 100 years ago when the automobile was first coming in, and it replaced the over the space of 30 years replaced horses and horse-drawn carriages, the entire equestrian industry. But At that same time, new industries were being created. There were people selling the tires, selling auto parts, building the cars.
Yeah, I mean,
building the highways.
Yes, exactly.
New industries were coming in their place to replace the old ones that were going on. In the case of AI, we're throwing out all the jobs that we have now, but we're not building any new infrastructure in its place.
The infrastructure that we're building is to make the AI work better.
We're making,
it's like we're forgetting the fact. I'm sorry, go ahead.
We're making money for the millionaire and billionaire class, but we're not doing it in. But none of that is filtering down, like trickle down economics is not filtering down to you and me, the middle class, working class, the working poor. In order to, like
the economy,
our lives are not
maintains the billionaires' billions. Basically,
our lives are not improving by this new technology. And again, even the idea. Look, first off, let me qualify. I do not believe AI, as the way is it being sold, is AI. It's basically more advanced algorithms.
Yeah, some of it is just outright theft software.
Yeah, that's software.
The AI art is theft software.
Yeah, in terms of like the creative arts in general, yes, it is plagiarism software. Yes. In terms of stuff that's like can compile data and compile information into something that you can use in a narrative and say the medical arts, the technological arts, the science, the sciences. Yes, absolutely. AI can be used in positive ways, and I'm not against them, and it doesn't cost people jobs in the process.
That's the thing. It's supposed to be used to help people, to make people's lives easier, to make their jobs easier, not to replace them. That has to be the line in the sand there. Like, people need to be more important than technology. And right now it feels like we aren't. Right now it feels like we're just getting in the way of billionaire tech bros, being able to steal money from people, pretty much. And like, there are great AI advantages to things like medical care. I remember I saw something that said that, advances in AI can help lead to breast cancer detection in mammograms 5 years earlier than it would be caught otherwise in the current system. And that's amazing. That's not replacing radiologists. It's not replacing doctors. It's modeling software to that it works. It starts from this is what breast cancer looks like to move back through to say like this is where it starts, and we are noticing boy, I can't talk today. We're noticing a trend in this direction based on current knowledge of where this will end up, and that is amazing. That's what this should be used for, to save people's lives, for medical breakthroughs, but again, radiologists aren't losing their jobs, doctors, nurses, they are not losing their jobs because of this, because it's being implemented in a way that is moral, ethical, I guess. Mm-hmm. But you put this kind of technology in the hands of tech bros who don't care about other people, and of course they're going to use it to make themselves money and to steal things from people and to put people out of work. It's like giving an experienced hunter a rifle so he can feed his family, or giving an AK-47 to a child. One of those is going to hurt people. One of those might help them in the long run. I really should have thought about this before I started talking. Yeah. I'm kind of just all over the place here. But like, this is severely impacting people's lives. And what I said about artists goes for writers too. There are
ChatGPT.
Yeah, ChatGPT. People, novelists, people who don't have the means to, hire an attorney and take these people to court, are having their works stolen and
plagiarized.
Yeah,
cut up, hacked up, put back together.
Yeah, and used as training, modeling for these algorithms. There was another one. It was Oh, I just had it.
No, Mid Journey, but that's an artist, probably.
No, it is artists and writers and voice actors.
Yeah.
Voice actors are also starting to experience this too. Not that freelance voice actors really had that much of a, you know, opportunities before. They tend to get paid like shit, but at least they were able to make a living doing this. And now a lot of places, much like Rev, are basically like, they're still around. They're just providing, AI voice acting that has been scraped from actual working voice actors. And it's damaging the creative industry because robots can't make art. I'm sorry. They can't. So it's like there are uses if put it in responsible hands, but a lot of them are very much not. They're
a lot of it's judged by the profit motive.
Yes, exactly.
And the product motive, creative outlet and the product of the motive are, for lack of a better word, mutually exclusive.
And disastrous.
One doesn't necessarily need the other. I think that our society tends to confuse what is popular and what is made money and what is
valuable.
What is not just valuable, what is creative and what is art of an artistic nature. I think people
of artistic worth.
Artistic worth. Yeah. I do. I guess I guess if you go for the idea, is our AI images, our AI creative works, art? If you want to go from the hypothetical, the moment you deem it to be art, it becomes art. Maybe from the pure philosophical debate, possibly in terms of craft and what from idea to finished product, is that art or is that a craft? Is that of an artistic worth? My answer is no.
Mine also.
Because basically I'll say it this way: if that person goes and let's say I go to a show and I see somebody with a bunch of AI posters and they're saying, "Oh, I'm an artist," it's like, well, I just went over next door to the McDonald's and I hit the kiosk over there and ordered myself a Big Mac. Does that make me a burger chef? It's like, no. It's like, why not? Because you didn't put the burger together. You didn't assemble it. You didn't package it. You didn't hand it to me. It's like, exactly. All you did was like, well, I had the idea.
Buttons.
There's a difference between having an idea. Like I go to shows for 22 years. I have people tell me about ideas. It's like, there's a difference between having an idea and taking that idea and bringing it to a finished work, a finished product, a finished artistic work.
Yeah. And that is another thing. Like, it's going to sound really stupid given what we've been talking about for the past half hour, but with AI artists, there's something just so tragic in that. Now, I've argued with people on Twitter about this, and they say that artists are gatekeepers, which is complete bullshit. I know a lot of artists, and I have never met an artist that if you said, hey, can you show me how to do this? Or can you help me figure out how to do this? Perspective, shading, anything, even basic stuff. I don't know a single artist who would be like, fuck off. I'm not helping you do anything. Like, I have been helped by numerous artists. I like to think that I've helped people learn things. I know that because we do not live in a closed door society. We want people to make art. It is can be a zero sum game when you're selling art, but we understand that the betterment of humanity lies in the arts, so we want to help people. Like, I do not know any artist who has ever refused outright to at least, ever, just would never help anyone learn something about their craft, about something that they do. It's not a thing that artists do. You know,
I'm not saying they're gonna like a lot of artists are still people who work and they want their stuff, their time and their efforts to be like a monetary value.
They're not going to give you a class for free, but there are thousands of YouTube, artists who are out there like, this is how I do this.
Yeah.
It's not, nobody is gatekeeping the art world.
No, it's not.
What we want is for you to learn. We want, because all you're doing by typing a bunch of bullshit strings of crap into a program that steals people's art, all you're doing is keeping yourself from
learning how that works on a microscopic level.
No, not just that. On a more of a philosophical level, you are destroying the chance that you have to learn about yourself and the world around you in a new way. When you learn to be an artist, you learn to see the world differently, understand the world differently. You don't.
You're having the computer produce the images for you
instead of you learning how to change the way you look at things.
Yeah.
You learning self-discipline, you being proud of yourself that you can master a new skill. Like, things that are gotten so easily are not always worth getting.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Thanks, I hate it.
Yeah, because like you lose so much of yourself by not giving yourself the chance to learn how to do something. It's like, yes, it's fucking hard. I mean, we've both been drawing for decades and it's fucking hard.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would not ever, it's made me a different person than who I would have been without it. And I would never ever trade those decades of hard work. And I know when you're in the outside looking in, you're like, I can never do this. I talk to people and they're like, I can never draw like that. It's like,
you're getting practice for.
You can. All you need to do is work at it. You need to, and you need to be passionate about it, and you need to want to, and believe in yourself that you can do it. I think that's a big thing. It's like people, before they get started with things, they're like, I can't do it. That's all there is to it. And when they mess up at the beginning, because you always mess up, because everybody sucks at things when they start. It's just part of how it is. And then they give up and they say, look, see, I can't do it. I knew I couldn't do it. Why did I try it? You can do it. Just do it. Believe in yourself. Believe that you can make something beautiful and that you don't have to steal from people in order to achieve that.
You don't have to go up to an artistic and creative vending machine in order to churn out.
Exactly.
Something that's not yours beyond like a little flashcard or whatever. Or it feels like a card of Pictionary. You're playing Pictionary with a little prompt on it, but you're having the computer do it for you. And you're like, what's the point? This is like, what's it, virtual Pictionary?
Yeah. Like, it's virtual skee-ball. I can't believe I'm not playing virtual Pictionary.
Right.
But it's like, you're just doing such a disservice to yourself and other people that you don't even know. You're hurting a lot of people because this has already affected people's jobs.
Yeah.
It really has. And it's affecting the climate. I have stats. I wrote stuff down. We're getting a little late, so I'm going to go ahead. Most AI engines are not efficient. They use up resources like you would not believe. Okay, I have this written down. All right. The more powerful AI modelers, stuff like your Midjourney, stuff like Midjourney size, I would say. One single image creation can cost as much as charging your phone battery fully. That's one. And if you don't like what you get and you have to redo it, there's another whole phone charge. And most people go through this 10 times before they, find the prompt that works for them. AI and crypto made 2% of worldwide electric demand in 2022. That's from an MIT study. AI and crypto. 2% of worldwide electric demand. That's basically like the worldwide energy consumption of like most of Southern Africa.
Possibly,
I think I
possibly
said Cameroon.
possibly some sort of mid-sized American city.
Liechtenstein? Kansas?
Let's just say New York City or Boston.
Oh no, I'm getting to those.
Oh,
AI model training is 6 times the amount of CO2 emissions footprints, CO2 emission footprints compared to an entire lifetime of vehicle manufacturing and usage. So, training a new AI modeler uses the same amount of CO2, the same footprint of CO2 consumption as my entire life of buying cars, fixing cars, driving cars, putting gas in cars, and using things like tires and oil and stuff like that. It is the same footprint. Excuse me. Whew. That's not good to do there. It's the same footprint as one person's entire car usage for their lifetime. Water consumption, on-site sewer I can't read my own handwriting. On-site server cooling and off-site electricity generation are both used in large AI farms. Now, obviously, the on-site server cooling, they send, it literally is what it sounds like. Water-cooled servers, basically there are pipes, tubes of water running through that help pull the heat out so things don't overheat. The servers don't overheat. Now, some people may not have ever seen a water-cooled system. You can find them in PC desktops. They're pretty interesting. I have seen them, but it's far more common on a large-scale basis. So you have like a large AI farm where you have all of but it takes a huge amount of water for just the on-site cooling. And then there's the off-site electricity generation. And like we said, 2% of the world consumption of electricity, that takes a lot of water for the electricity generation. It causes a lot of water evaporation. That's from the Organization for Economic Co-op and Development. Gave me that. All right, and now we get into the math portion. I hate math, but okay, so New York City uses 4.5 terawatt hours of energy a month. 470 terawatt hours a year is what Pittsburgh uses. And we're about 2 hours out of Pittsburgh. So we use Pittsburgh as an example of a small, mid-sized city. In 2024, AI data centers were projected to use 178 terawatt hours of energy for the year. That's a quarter of the energy usage in Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh's got like, how many people live in Pittsburgh? Like 2 million? Something like that?
Somewhere between 1 million and 2 million, I would surmise.
Yeah, so which means that is the energy usage for a year for like 500,000 people for in AI data centers per year. Like, they are electricity hogs. And at this point, we can't really spare it. We're already experiencing
rolling blackouts, rolling brownouts.
Yeah, severe climate emergencies in like far worse than we've ever experienced. I mean, we're destroying the climate, and continuing to use AI helps destroy the climate a little bit faster because it's they're just such unbelievable energy hogs. Like, if you're using a quarter of the energy of Pittsburgh to run these things, you're putting people out of work. You're kind of destroying people's lives, because art, writing, I mean, yes, it's a career, but it's more than that. It's not just an office that you go to every day. It means something when you do it. We're forgetting about the human cost of technology and innovation. And that human cost is getting entirely too expensive.
I think you kind of go back to, I'm going to bring up a dirty word here, Marx. I went there. Marx kind of had the impression through various writings that technology and innovation and societal progress would put us at a point where like machines would go and have us. They would be able to do so much of the work, and so we would only have to be working. Was it 3 to 5 hours a week, or to an hour a day, or something to that effect? And then we would have more time to pursue those, to engage in those pursuits that like the arts, like
Sort of like Maslow's hierarchy.
or like gardening or anything that we thought was something that we wanted to do. We would put in this small amount of effort in order to maintain our society. I guess we go around doing various different works, but instead the opposite has happened. We've created more.
The machines have more right to life than we do at this point.
Yeah, that yes, but I mean also that the machine, like we are working more in certain ways, putting more out. We've eliminated over the years good jobs, and now we have two sets. We have bad jobs and we have bullshit jobs. Your bad jobs are the ones that like are necessary. I'm not saying anybody who engages these lines of work are bad people or are of lesser quality. They like
nothing against the people that do the work.
Do this, but I know at times it's exhausting.
Sometimes gross.
Gross. Like your dishwasher, your
maintenance people.
They take out the trash. I'm not saying that these are unnecessary jobs. I'm not saying, but they're bad in the idea that they take their toll on people and that are jobs that mainstream society sees as undesirable for people to have.
Yes, and they look down on.
They're looked down upon, and that should not be. These people keep society running on a basic, fundamental, atomic level.
Yeah, like you can judge a society by how good their waste removal is, because the ones that don't, everybody gets sick and dies. Yeah. That's how important these are, and yet. Anyway, I'm sorry, we're getting off topic. I just like to point that out.
With your bad jobs, you have your bullshit jobs. The jobs that like we create in order to artificially sort of keep an economy going in order to pay people something to do. But like
middle managers.
Yes, middle managers, various jobs in, I don't necessarily say data entry, but certain jobs that basically, like, if you ever watched the movie Office Space, it's full of bullshit jobs. And I'm gonna say that, but if you ever go around and ask these people, they feel unfulfilled. They feel like I'm just doing a task that doesn't need to be done, so I can justify my existence in some way. Like somebody made
in order to be able to not be unhoused and not starve to death.
Yeah. So they take care of those basic needs, but they're so exhausted. They still put in an 8-hour day, sometimes more, sometimes 10, 12, 14, whatever it is. And they're too exhausted to do anything else by the time that they're done with this. And sometimes the bullshit jobs don't even pay much, so you're doing 2 or 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And now AI has eliminated so many of those bullshit jobs that, again, like we said earlier, that they're not creating new jobs. Like, we're not creating anything in its place.
Yeah.
To fill the gap. And now you have a slowly emerging new underclass, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a reorganization of the underclass.
And that underclass is getting poorer and poorer. And historically speaking, when that happens, things don't go good for the upper classes.
Yeah. But then, I guess back into AI, where we're trying not to go too far off target.
Yeah. Plus, it's 5 now, so we're going to probably be wrapping up pretty soon. But there is one more thing I wanted to talk about on the AI subject, and that is, of course, Star Trek.
Uh-huh.
Because Star Trek is awesome. We both love Star Trek. But honestly, we have a lot of, there are 2 sides to this. The idea of what you were saying about Marx. A lot of that in psychological terms, that's called Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where the bottom of the pyramid is like basic needs, like survival needs, and then it builds up from there. And the top is very much like self-actualization, and that's kind of what Marx was talking about, and that's kind of what the Star Trek world is like. Is about like, yes, we have machines doing things. We are a non-scarcity economy, which is important.
We moved out of survival mode.
Yes, everybody has enough. We do not need to create artificial scarcity to encourage people to work, which is also a well-established psychological principle that you do not need to threaten people, in order
and
to get them to work. People want to be fulfilled. They want to do things.
Which kind of falls back.
They will do things.
Which kind of falls back on the bullshit jobs. It's like it's
exactly. But
their basic needs and they're accomplishing something. But if you put them in these bullshit jobs long enough, they don't feel any sense of accomplishment. They don't feel any sense that they're making any impact upon the world.
Exactly, and it's depressing. And the only reason that they don't just give up is because they'll die on the streets. And that's no way to encourage people. Like, that's the main problem with capitalism. Living in a scarcity economy is, well, it's complete bullshit. We're running out of time, so I can't really get into this. But as far as the AI goes, that's the thing that's supposed to get us to this, but we're forgetting the human, the toll it's taking on human lives. So yes, it is we're trying to get there, but we can't get there without helping our fellow humans along to get to that point. And there's another episode. It's my favorite episode of Next Generation. It's called The Measure of a Man. It's the one where Starfleet decides that
Data's not a...
Yeah, they decide that Data is not...
sentient. Or not...
He is property. He's property of the Federation. So they have to... They put on a trial, basically. And Captain Picard has to basically defend Data as a person. And it's a great episode because it asks the question of, what is a person? What is sentience? What is life worth? Where does it start and where does it stop? And who has the ability to decide that? And I feel like, of course, we're all like, we know Data. Data is his own person, even if he is not biological.
It also doesn't help that the Data is also has an anthropomorphic form.
That also helps, yes. But when I think about, like, Dan's point about, what is art? Can AI make art? The answer is always, AI has no sentience. Therefore, it is not alive as we recognize it. AI cannot create anything itself. Everything that it creates, it takes from someone else. Now, Data had the ability, Data had in his head every single work of art by every single painter who ever lived in history. And when he painted, things were technically perfect, but didn't have necessarily the depth, the ideology, or the soul that we would consider it, but he made original pieces himself based upon all of this that it was in his head. So was that art, being that he was not, that he was a machine implanted with this stuff? Yes, it was art because it came from him. It came from his brain and it came from his heart. Not in the literal sense, in the figurative sense. In the philosophical sense, thank you, yes. But AI cannot create art because all it does is steal other people's work.
Yeah.
It cannot create anything original.
There's no intent coming from the
There's no intent.
coming
Thank you. Yes.
from the AI.
Yes, exactly. So is AI art? No, it's not.
No.
And you can suck it. And the people who are employing it, that doesn't make you an artist either. Being an artist is more than producing art. I mean, that's the major thing of it, but there's a whole philosophical angle to it.
It's more than producing content.
It's more than producing content, yes.
Because you basically, on one end is an idea, on the other end is product, and you're missing all the stuff in the middle.
Yes. And the stuff in the middle can only come from you.
Yeah.
You have a voice. You have a perspective. You have life. You know, that's what we want to see. That is where the art comes from. It can't come from a machine because a machine has none of that. And it's just a bunch of lines of code.
Yeah.
So what your perspective on the world, even if it doesn't look the way you want it to, and believe me, nobody's art looks the way we want it to. It never looks the way we want it to in our head.
No.
We all go through that. But what's important is your voice and your perspective, how you see the world. The content is not the end goal. The end goal is communication.
Yeah. With AI, it's like the end product is never how you see it. It's basically you walking away like, well, that's good enough. I mean, and also, I guess with AI.
Also, yeah, like AI can't do things right.
No.
Its anatomy is horrible. Stuff doesn't make any sense. So it's like, it's beyond the philosophical. It's just dumb. It looks dumb. What? People don't have 10 fingers. People do have 10 fingers. People don't have 12 fingers. And random arms growing out of the backs of their heads. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think AI, at least with the creative arts, is like it can't, like I said, with the end product, it's an intent. Like intent is great. It's like, an idea is great. It's the beginning. It's a genesis, but you're basically not. The end product has nothing to do with you. And also on top of that, I feel like with AI, especially in the creators, when they put it out, I feel like they invested a whole bunch of R&D into it, a whole bunch of money into it.
That's another thing. A bunch of millionaires did, and they're pushing it on us whether we want it or not.
Yeah, but they put it out on the market. They put it out on the market because they got to recoup their costs. They got to recoup all their money.
That's why search engines suck now.
Yeah, and without like we're proving it as we go. But it's like I'd rather like. Why don't you just have? And I understand everything has. I mean, as somebody who works in comics, and occasionally I've made mistakes in my books, and I've had to put out additions in order to further additions to correct them. I understand. I understand mistakes happen, but I feel like we're getting rough draft versions of what they're promising us with AI.
Yeah.
That not just in the creative art, but in general. Again, when you do a Google search, when you have all these things, well, now we have AI. It's like, all right, here's AI. It's like
your questions. It makes no sense.
It's like Sue last night on the damn phone, like she's trying to change phones over and having to talk with like with Verizon with their autocaller, their robocaller. It feels like dealing with that. Like you're not going to get the service that you want.
You're not really getting answers for things.
Yeah.
It kind of just gives you, like, I remember I searched for something and it was like, this has happened multiple times where I'm like, well, why is this happening? And it's like, oh, this is the product that you're using, blah, 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 blah. Yes, I know that. I know that. I'm aware of that. That's not what I asked.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, and like you said, it feels like the beta versions of this shit. And yet we're stuck with it because billionaires put their whole wad into it, and they're like, this is going to be big. I don't care if they don't like it. Force them to use it. So now we're all being forced to use it. Nobody can search for anything.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. I'm sorry. I think I kind of took over your last thought there.
Yeah, that's, like I said, I don't see AI. Again, I hate calling it AI.
Yeah.
I really hate calling it AI because it's not artificial intelligence in the way that somebody was born in the 1970s, grew up in the 80s, read and watched science fiction.
Yeah.
This
Not in the way
this
that sci-fi prepared us for.
these are advanced algorithms that basically reconstruct certain things according to a certain data and certain data and certain parameters. I would not call it. If it is AI, it's AI in its absolute
Infancy.
It's a proto mode. Not definitely not AI as I think about it. Like I said,
it's just like
it's an algorithmic process, just like any other algorithmic process that we have with social media, that we have with the internet, that we have with any kind of sort of computer application. It's just maybe it's a little bit more advanced than some of the stuff that's there, but it still has so many bugs and so many problems with it that I feel like it shouldn't be ingrained into our various online infrastructures the way it is now.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to the drawing board, work on it a little more. If you didn't have the money for it, then you shouldn't have been spending the money on it in the first place.
Go back to Star Trek, because that's something you're going to have to get used to in the show. We're going to go back to Star Trek a lot. To go back to Star Trek, in First Contact, the next gen movie, First Contact, it really does feel a lot like the way that it feels like a lot of the way that all the Star Trek shows talked about our world, where we just ran with technology without thinking about the greater implications of it. I hate that was kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, but it definitely feels like the world of First Contact, like we're getting to that point. Granted, I should have watched that movie again before I started talking about it, because I don't really remember exactly what happens in it. But
I'm gonna go with Dr. Malcolm from Jurassic Park. You
were so concerned with wondering if you could, you didn't stop and think that you should.
Yes.
Exactly. Yes. That's great. Thank you, Ian Malcolm.
Yes, thank you, a.k.a. Jeff Goldblum, who also was Seth Brundle in The Fly, who didn't think that one through.
Yes, he didn't think that through either.
No, but Malcolm learned from Seth Brundle's mistake.
Yes.
Yeah, and he didn't wind up in a Cronenbergian nightmare. And isn't that what we all want?
We do. Yeah.
None of us want to be
nobody wants to be in a Cronenberg film.
Unless I want to be in a Cronenberg porno, personally, myself.
I thought that was Reanimator.
He didn't have anything to do with that.
Not David Cronenberg?
No.
Who was that?
Reanimator?
Yeah.
No, it's not David Cronenberg.
Anyway, so we're getting up to about an hour here. We're a little bit late. We started late. We're running a little bit late. So I'm sorry for our one poor viewer that's still hanging on there. We appreciate it.
Maybe it's AI.
Oh no! Oh no! It's gonna murder us.
If it is AI, go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself, AI.
Yeah.
But
thank you for watching.
Yes.
You can send us some money away. Preferably from Elon's vast resources that he's plundering from the government.
Yeah. That bitch still owes me $100. Yeah. I signed his petition and I never got his check.
I got $200 though.
You got $200 because I put him down as the person who told me about the petition.
I got some tax and cash from him.
That guy. Yeah. Anyway, we better get done here because we got to go over and eat dinner. And so thank you for joining us. I'm glad that this first episode actually worked out. I bought a Wi-Fi booster, so that seemed to be doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
So thank you everybody for joining us. We'll be back here next Monday. Hopefully in theory.
3:30ish.
I think I have it down for 3:30.
3:30ish.
Yep. Yay, we did an episode and we didn't crash the internet on the way.
Thank you in person.
Thank you guys. We'll see you next time.